Mazda is probably best known for one thing above all else: rotary engines. Just me then. The MX-5, yes. So the problem though for Mazda is that not many people want to buy a two-seater sports car because it doesn't suit most motorists' everyday needs. Fortunately for Mazda, it makes many other everyday cars too. And although they are not all MX-5s, there's a little bit of MX-5 in all of them. And what I mean by that is that they're all a little bit fun to drive. Whether it is the Mazda 3 hatchback to the larger Mazda 6 estate or saloon, or the family SUVs like this CX-5. The other thing that Mazda likes to do is go its own way. So while other SUVs are full of overblown, flashy styling, the CX-5 takes a more subtle approach, and I think it looks really rather good. Those good looks are thanks to Mazda's Kodo design philosophy, which I'm told roughly translates to soul in motion. And it's these simple flowing lines, and they help it to look good still 8 years after it was launched. In fact, the only similarly sized rivals that have aged as gracefully as this are Volvo XC60, which is a bit more expensive, and the second generation Volkswagen Tiguan. But then that's a little bit boring to look at. Other rivals include the Nissan Qashqai, Ford Kuga, and the Kia Sportage. Unlike most of the CX-5's rivals, however, there are no self-charging hybrids or plug-in hybrids, just non-turbocharged petrols and turbocharged diesels to choose from. But although these might seem quite old-fashioned, the petrol engines are zippy enough without turbos, and the turbo diesels are very fuel efficient. But we'll chat more about the C5's power plants later. So aside from those unusual engine options, how does the Mazda stack up? Well, it certainly feels more premium than you might expect from a non-premium manufacturer, and you can tell that by the squidgy dash and the stitch detailing. And this centre console is set relatively high up compared with most family SUVs, which gives it a bit of a sporty feel. In many ways, it's quite an old-fashioned driving environment, but that's no bad thing. There's a central infotainment screen here, which is not touchscreen. Instead, we've got this rotary controller here, which BMW and Audi used to do, and it's almost as good. It takes a while to get used to how the various functions work, but once you do, it's great. A touchscreen is distracting, takes your eyes off the road for longer than is necessary, and can be hard to accurately operate while you're driving. All that being said, the CX-5 is just beginning to feel its age, but that doesn't mean that you miss out on equipment, because it comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which can be wireless if your CX-5 is new enough. It also comes with built-in sat-nav, climate control and parking sensors. Oh, and there's all the modern driver assistance features you'd expect, including rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring, auto high beam lights and lane keep assist. Before I get in the back, I just want to show you, look how wide that door opens, which is really useful when getting child seats in and out, children in and out, OAPs, big dogs. No, probably not. You put those in the boot, wouldn't you? Anyway, it's very practical and useful. For those of you that have noticed, we've moved to a new shot, and in between me being outside of the car and inside of the car, I've been reliably informed that some people have their dogs on these seats. So what do you do? Tell us, if you are a dog owner, do you have your dog in the boot, or do you have your dog on this seat, that seat, or even the seat in the front? I really want to know. Now, if you are a person and you are sitting in this seat, then you will be very comfortable indeed, because there is plenty of legroom and headroom. And on this particular car, if you open the armrest, you can rest your arm on it, or you can lift up this and you can charge your phone or your pad. I was going to say iPad, but some of you have got Android. What are they called? Tablets, that's it. And there's also another one of those pen holders, which I found in the ID Buzz. Check out that review. Is there anything else worth noting? Well, there's also electric windows, which is quite handy, and this to hold on to if someone's driving particularly energetically. Also par for the course is boot space. You get 506 litres, which is within a few litres of its rivals. It's a good shape without awkward intrusions, and there's extra underfloor storage, but there is a small load lip that might make getting heavy items in and out a bit awkward. And we've got an electric tailgate, which is always a useful touch. And while that is closing, like, subscribe, click on the bell icon so you catch all of our latest videos. The boot beat me. It beat me. Remember when I said there was a little bit of MX-5 in every Mazda? Well, that is certainly true of this one, because the way that the steering wheel and the gear shift is positioned, they're really close to each other. You can quickly make those shifts, and the gearbox is smooth and sweet. We really recommend this 6-speed manual, but if you don't fancy changing gear, there is also an automatic available. As for the available engines, this model gets the basic 2-litre naturally aspirated non-turbo petrol, which with 165 horsepower is enough to get you to 60 miles per hour in 10.7 seconds. There's a bigger, more powerful 2.5 litre, which will knock about a second from the 0 to 60 time, but that's automatic only. There are also 150 horsepower or 184 horsepower 2.2 litre diesels, and the more powerful of those is the only CX-5 available with 4-wheel drive. It's the obvious choice for those wanting to tow. With this 2-litre, you do miss it a bit, not having that extra shove that a turbo would provide, especially if you're fully laden. But all you need to do is just rev it a little harder, which is honestly no hardship. And then when you get to your favourite country lane, the steering wheel is really well weighted, so it is actually quite good fun to drive. As for fuel economy, the official figures say 43 miles per gallon combined for this 2-litre and 40 for the 2.5 litre petrol. Though, of course, you'll probably get a touch less than that in the real world, and you'll get around 50 miles per gallon out of the diesel engine in either power output. If you are heading off on a long journey, you might find that the suspension is a little on the firm side, and that is the payoff for sporty handling, but it never feels uncomfortable and it is well damped. That said, if you would like an extra squishy ride, then go for something like the Citroen C5 Aircross, and we have reviewed that here. It's quite hard to pick fault with the CX-5. It feels like a premium product, it's great to drive, and it has a restrained and sensible approach to design, both inside and out. If only it had slightly more muscular and more powerful engines, then it would be close to perfect.